Yeah, you know where to start it. You know what's up. We are live. We are back in action on a Monday fun day, night before kickoff of the Eagles and Commanders. The Third and Three podcast is here for some pregame action and our midseason NFL awards, baby. It is on. We'll look back at some of the answers we gave in August and compare it to the ones we give today if they have in fact changed. So it's time to look back in order to jump forward. Let me welcome in my partners on the mic. Tricky Nikki Gist in the house as always, looking fabulous. How we doing today?
Oh, thank you. I don't feel it right now, but thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, you look it, so it's all good. You know
all
what?
Right, thanks.
Look good, feel good, act good. D, you know what that's all about.
Yes, sir. Got to. And that's what getting a bonus episode this week makes me definitely feel very good and look very good.
Extra therapy this week. I love it. I don't even have to pay for it, man. It's a beautiful thing. I need this. This is great. Get my Fearman therapy over here. I love it. And yes, I am Jason Fearman, aka the Sports Prophet. This show, like all others, is presented by the Sports Column and brought to you by Reebok. Head over to thirdand3podcast.com. Reebok hook up. Let Third and Three help you out with some holiday shopping on some cool kicks like the Speed 2 TRs or classic leather shoes, walking shoes, running shoes, whatever your feet desire, all at a discounted price by clicking on the Reebok link at thirdand3podcast.com. That's all you got to do. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here. We are ready to rock and roll. We have midseason awards to talk about. We'll probably get into a little bit of what happened yesterday, as it's a Monday show, and it's a little unorthodox for us. Hey, what's up, Ma? Glad you're in the house. Always. Beautiful thing. So, I mean, we could talk about some things as we go through the awards, but we're officially doing our midseason awards. So back in August, we came out with who we thought it was going to be, even starting with the MVP, which is the ultimate category, right, guys? So right now, answers may be different because I picked Lamar Jackson. Damian, you picked Josh Allen, who was looking like it for a while until he started fumbling the last couple of games all over the place. And Nikki, you had Tom Brady, who's starting to
Whoa, holy shit.
at least the past game and quarter. What's up, Courtney? What up, man? I mean, hey, you know what? It's preseason. Hey, we all thought I had Tom Brady with you, like leading the league in passing yards, and he's got what, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, something like that. But
yeah,
maybe not the MVP. I don't know. So what about right now? Who jumps out to you guys, Nikki? I mean, you're probably thinking about changing your mind on that one. So who do you got?
I would just like to, let everybody know this should really demonstrate how objective I have become after 2.5 years of podcasting. All right, Courtney. Okay. Listen, I don't think Jalen Hurts is going to win, and it pains me to have to pick an Eagle player. Believe me, it pains me more than anyone could possibly know. But I will give credit where credit is due, just for sheer talent and athleticism. I really wish it was on any other team but the Eagles. Like, it just sucks. It has to be in my division. But Jalen Hurts, he has a higher quarterback rating than Mahomes and Allen. So he's at 107.8. He has a higher completion rating than the both of them. And he only has 2 interceptions on the season so far. Yeah. So, and plus Philly's undefeated, which D, you predicted, and I feel like it's like not a storyline. I know we're coming off the game of the year last night and everything, but Philly undefeated, if that was any other team, it would be all anybody's talking about.
Yeah, I guess, listen, I hear what you're saying. I don't know. Maybe because they haven't played the big time opponent yet, or they haven't been on Monday Night Football enough. They played the Vikings in week 2. So maybe they don't have these standout games tonight. They're playing Washington, who they should destroy, but at least America's going to get to see it. So I'm with you. His statistics aren't gaudy, but they're winning the division. And again, a lot of it has to do with his rushing ability. And Courtney giving you praise over here for being a Giants fan and going ahead and giving that up to Philly. We definitely want to hear your guys' opinion out there. Who you think the MVP is now, who you had earlier in the season. D, like we said, you had Josh Allen, and he is the MVP for the Buffalo Bills, no doubt. But it looks like he took a step back in the race.
Yeah, I had him, winning up until these last couple of weeks. And I think with him taking a step back, I have Patrick Mahomes taking that step forward. Leading the league in passing yards so far with 2,936. Also leading the league in touchdown passes with 25. 7 interceptions. So not as low as a Jalen Hurts, but definitely not high. Also completing 67% of his passes and also 215 rushing yards. We've seen him make a lot of plays with his feet this year, some really big runs to keep drives going. And he's going to make 3 or 4 plays a game, just make you say, wow. That's why he's Patrick Mahomes. So I got Patrick Mahomes right now, but I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Allen turns it around and puts himself right back into the MVP race.
I think he could. He's got the ability. And what's up, Primetime? Glad you're in the house, bro. We definitely want you guys' answers to this MVP action right here. I think the thing with him is how healthy is he going to be? How much has that elbow really affected him? It didn't seem like it did yesterday, even though we threw a few bad interceptions, but he had the zip on the ball. So you're going Patrick Mahomes. Look, between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes, it's like splitting hairs. But if I had to, I'd probably go Mahomes because I feel like he may be a little bit more worthy or a little bit more MVP-ish to his team than Kansas City or Jalen Hurts is to Philadelphia, because Hurts is doing great. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's throwing like perfect balls all over the place. His numbers aren't there. But I think the thing with Philly is that they have the running game to rely on, where Kansas City just doesn't. The running game is really Patrick Mahomes and either McKinnon or Pacheco or Clyde Edwards, who got nothing yesterday. I mean, they really don't run the ball. So it's really all on Mahomes. And again, you gave his numbers. He's only got 7 picks right now. He's throwing the ball all over the place, 366 attempts, completing 245. Look, the guy is doing unreal, 106 quarterback rating. I believe that's highest in the league. So I have to go with Patrick Mahomes on this one. And Courtney says, same thing with him. It's Hurts and Mahomes. But I'm going to throw in a little caveat for you guys. What about Tyreek Hill? Nikki, does Tyreek Hill deserve some recognition for MVP for what he's doing and basically breaking mid-season records right now?
No, of course he does. I just figured it would go to a quarterback, but I do have my own category of non-quarterback MVP. So,
I like that.
Maybe we should do that. But I just want to correct you real quick. Jalen Hurts has the highest quarterback rating right now.
Oh, he does. It's percentage points, right? I think you're actually right about that, because
I think him and Tua are ahead of Mahomes right now, right?
Yeah, Mahomes 106.1 and Jalen Hurts, just so I got it 100% right. Where did he go?
107.8.
Okay, all right. So no, I'm glad you corrected me. We want the facts on the show. We try to do our best. That's what's up. Yep, Hurts and Mahomes, definitely a splitting hairs between the two of them. There's no doubt about it. So let's see what we got next. Our next category, now that we're looking at Mahomes and Hurts as MVP, maybe Tua could be sneaky in there. I don't know about anybody else. Josh Allen definitely could come back. Lamar Jackson could come back. He doesn't have a whole lot of yards passing, but 16 touchdowns, 6 picks, and we all know what he does on the ground with his feet. So he, again, is as much an MVP to a team as you could possibly.
You think he will? I mean, literally, like, what? I mean, I had this discussion. Actually, we looked up the stats yesterday on Sunday. When's the last time the Ravens had a true number one receiver? I think it was 2012. They just don't seem to address this. So, I mean, talk about being so valuable to your team. Where are the Ravens if they don't have Lamar Jackson?
Well, that's a good point. That's a really good point. They're probably nowhere. I mean, to be quite honest, because he is the offense. They run it all through him. Primetime saying Saquon, Nikki, maybe he should be in there. Well,
yes, I definitely have him down for a couple other awards for sure.
We got plenty of awards to go, like Offensive Player of the Year award, where we heard this back in August. Let me play it for you guys.
I kind of gave away my pick earlier. Justin Jefferson. I think he's going to have a monster year this year. 1,800 receiving yards. I'm going to go 13 receiving touchdowns, 125 catches for Offensive Player of the Year.
Not a bad pick right there, Justin Jefferson, right now. He's looking pretty good. That was your pick back in August. Are you sticking with it? Because he is phenomenal. And yesterday, he was catching passes with like one finger.
Yeah, he's absolutely phenomenal. And if it wasn't for Tyreek Hill, my pick would be Justin Jefferson. I think he's living up to my predictions. I just didn't know Tyreek Hill was going to be out here, on pace to have 2,000 yards, So I got to go with Tyreek Hill for Offensive Player of the Year. You mentioned his stats, 81 receptions so far, 1,148 yards. He is a little low on the touchdowns, only 3 touchdowns, but he's still out here dominating. And underrated stat, he's caught 76% of the passes that have been thrown to him this year, which is really high for somebody getting as many passes as he is targeted his way.
Yep, it's really amazing. I mean, only 4 touchdowns like you talked about, but he is 300 yards more than Cooper Kupp. That's who's second on the list. I mean, what more do you want? He has been unbelievable. So, like you, I mean, I went with Austin Eckler in the beginning of the year, and he's rushing the ball well. He's receiving the ball. He's making things happen. But to me, Nikki, he's nowhere where Tyreek Hill is. And I mentioned him in the voting for MVP possibly. I mean, damn.
Oh, yeah. No, you would have to go Tyreek Hill now.
Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill now for sure. Yeah. Courtney talking about Tua for MVP. You know what? Why can't he be in there? He's got one of the highest conversation. Yep, that's a good one. I like that, Courtney. I like that. He's definitely in there. No question. No question. So, yeah, that's talking about Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year. Let's see who we had when we started out in August. I had Shaq Leonard, who hasn't been on the field that much, so forget him. Joey Bosa, he's had his injuries. That was you, Damian. Yeah. And Nikki, you went with Aaron Donald, too. Surprisingly, we're really not hearing his name a whole lot right now.
Oof, damn.
I know.
God, what was I thinking?
Well, you were thinking that he's the best defensive player in the league, and that makes a lot of sense. So,
you know, I guess, you got to go
out on the limb with mine.
Yeah, we tried to a little bit, right? I went Shaq Leonard. He changed his name. I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. But he's a great player. But you know what? I think out of everybody right now, I don't know, D. It might be Matthew Judon from the Patriots. He's got some crazy numbers himself. Let me see if I can pick him up. I think he's got 11 and a half sacks. Let me see. Let me get to the sacks real quick. Matthew Judon, 11 and a half sacks. He's got 35 tackles. And, we're talking about a defensive end. He's made a lot of stops in the defensive backfield as well. So I know there's a lot of guys out there, but I think Judon is one of those guys that is sticking out on a Patriot team where they need the defense to come through big time.
Yeah, no, that's a great pick. The Patriots defense has come through in a major way. That offense has not been good all year. They had their moments with Zappy, but with Mac Jones looks like he's regressed. So the fact that they're over 500 is all on that defense. I'm going to go with Micah Parsons, though, for my pick. Okay. Dallas's defense up till the last couple of weeks has looked really, really well. And it's all about Micah Parsons getting to the quarterback, playing middle linebacker, playing in coverage. Like, he does everything. So I'm going to go with Micah Parsons right now.
And he's got 8 sacks on the year, which is not too shabby at all. So look, and Dallas is one of the best defensive teams in the league, Nikki. So I know you hate hearing that. That sure as hell makes a lot of sense. I can go with that one as well. We got Micah Parsons, Matt Judon leading the league in sacks. Is there anybody else that came to your mind, Nikki?
No, I unfortunately will go with Micah Parsons at this point. And just so everyone can stop coming at me, I have now picked a Cowboy and an Eagle. Okay.
Yes,
you all have come at me enough the past day. All right. So, my God.
Most people on Twitter were saying to go with Micah Parsons. So you guys are right on that one. I would say most likely is the general consensus out there. But we'll see. We got a long season to go. We got Rookie of the Year also. Hold on, Rookie of the Year. I think we have a little tape for Rookie of the Year as well. Let me see if I can get to it.
Coach of the Year.
Oh, this is Coach of the Year.
Jay. Oh, Brandon Staley.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's your guy.
That's my guy. What's my nemesis? I'm going with Brandon Staley. I think the Chargers are going to improve. We know this is a narrative award. So whenever, it's not going to go by best coach. It goes by a team who improved the most or team who was able to go and get through the most adversity. This is a narrative award. I think the narrative.
I had to put D on blast there for a second, just real quick.
Nah, I definitely, like I said, I knew it was going to be a show full of me eating crow, so I was prepared.
not just
we don't have to do crow bites on Wednesday. Right?
We're
right now.
We're right now. Just direct. You see, you're 1 for 1. You had the Jefferson who's rocking out right now, and then you went for the Brandon Staley action, but that's okay. It happens. Let's see who else we had. Let's see. Oh, well. You know what? If I could continue the actual coach, but we'll just say it. Nikki, who'd you have to begin the year?
Brian Dable. I had picked Brian Dable. I am still rolling with that. I don't care if it's biased. I don't think it's a question at this point. Like, maybe Robert Saleh for the Jets. I don't know. I think Brian Dable has completely turned the Giants organization around. They went from a 4-win team. Actually, every year was over by Halloween, and we're about to hit Thanksgiving in December, and we're playing meaningful football. I think he's just completely changed the culture around. He has got to definitely be a consideration, Coach of the Year.
All right. Look, Courtney agrees with you. He's saying Dable for sure. All right. For sure. Let's see. Okay. We got another one. Robert Saleh. A lot of people putting his name in the ring right now. He's doing a good job. Pete Carroll, maybe up until yesterday. But I think a guy that we don't talk about enough is Mike McDaniel. I think Mike McDaniel should be in the run for this thing also. I'm not necessarily, Nikki, should he win, but his name should be mentioned a hell of a lot more than it is because he is totally turn this team around, the offense especially, and that's a specialty.
Yeah, no, I'm going to stick with Brian Dable.
I was just trying to get you to acknowledge that he's doing a good job over there.
Sure,
The pipsqueak that he is, but nah, D, he's doing a good job.
No, Brian Dable definitely should be like one of the front runners for Coach of the Year for sure.
Yeah.
I like the Mike McDaniel pick. Their defense isn't the best right now, so that may be something where people look at, to stop him from being Coach of the Year. The fact that they're, except for last week, they're pretty much in shootouts almost every game. But I'm gonna go with Nick Sirianni, undefeated. It's hard to go against that as far as what you're seeing. And not only are they undefeated, but they're dominating teams. I know they haven't played, a Buffalo yet or a Kansas City yet, but they have played Minnesota and they dominated them. And Minnesota looks like they may be a for real 8-1 team now. So when you look at that perspective, you gotta say, the Eagles are really up there. So Nick Sirianni has to be in the running.
Well, I most certainly think he is, because you guys know that I picked him preseason to be the Coach of the Year, and I'm sticking with it, even though Brian Dable's doing a fantastic job. When you're undefeated, that's a whole different story right there. So being undefeated, I think, says a lot. And, you win every game. I don't care who's in front of you. Nick Sirianni and company are doing it. So I'm going to stick with Nick Sirianni on that one, even though Brian Dable is a great candidate and may end up winning this whole thing. We'll find out. Comeback player of the year. Let's see who we had to begin this one. Actually, I think Nikki actually kind of nailed this one on the comeback player of the year. Let me check it out real quick. Let me see. Oh, this is the rookie of the year. Hold on.
Come on, Jay, with the drops.
I'm trying to bring it out there for it. But you know what, Nikki, you did pick Saquon to start the year. You did. Damian picked Michael Thomas, but it's not his fault that he can't stay healthy. And I totally whiffed on this one. I put Russell Wilson as the comeback player of the year. That was a bad move, man. That was bad. But I think that, undoubtedly Saquon, 931 yards, leading the NFL in rushing yards. He's got 6 touchdowns on the ground. He's got 1 fumble. That's not really a big deal. I mean, he's already touched the ball almost 200 times just rushing. So, Nikki, homer pick or not, great call.
Oh, I don't care if it's a homer pick. We got plenty of homer picks on this friggin' show. All right. No, I mean, and I've seen the argument for Geno as well. I wouldn't be mad at that. I've seen Derrick Henry, coming back from injury. I just think, listen, Saquon had such a long road, and to know and to hear him say he mentally was really not in a great position, and he feels so much better this year, and he was ready to go, and he was so frustrated with himself. I mean, there's back, and then he's just straight up dominating. So, he's the front runner for me.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And we're hearing right now from Tommy and Courtney going back and forth over here in the chat line about Geno Smith, Damian. And Geno Smith has been something this year. I don't know what category, but comeback is hard to say, because what is he coming back from exactly? He was basically second string quarterback, backup quarterback for a while, wasn't hurt. But I think that he can be in the conversation because he is coming back from being known as a backup and now being a starter in the league, where his team is actually in first place in the NFC West, which probably won't be lasting long because my 49ers are coming. But do you think that he belongs in that conversation, or is he in a different category altogether?
I think he belongs because he is coming back from being doubted, right? He's coming back from people not believing in him. So it's not the same comeback as from an injury, but it is a comeback in his own right. Now, I think Saquon deserves the award, so I'm going with Saquon as well right now because he's dominating. Geno's been very, very great, but Saquon's on a different level, man. And the thing is, it's not like that O-line is amazing. There's still times where Saquon's dodging tackles in the backfield, and it has to create something out of nothing. So because of that, I'm going with Saquon.
Well, and another thing, Saquon, everybody knows he's getting the ball, and they still can't stop him anyway. The Giants have no passing game to speak of, and Saquon is still doing all of this. Almost at 1,000 yards to the midway point already. It's just really an unbelievable job, I have to say so far. Really just phenomenal. Geno Smith, for the record, doing great. Almost 2,500 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, and only 4 picks. Whoa. Those are really good numbers, and that's why people are even talking about him for the MVP for a while, which probably won't happen, but at least it's out there, and you got to give Geno Smith his props right now. He's doing a really good job. But all right, let's get to our next category. Let's see what we had over here. We did comeback player. Now we got to do the quantum leap player, and I will just start.
Rookie of the year.
Do we do all right? We'll do Rookie of the Year first, and then we'll go to Quantum Leap. That's a good idea. Let's do Rookie of the Year.
Okay.
Let's see in our categories. Rookie of the Year. All right. All pretty good picks over here. Nikki, you had Chris Olave. He's balling out. I know it's on not such a good offense right now in New Orleans, much to the dismay of Damian. Damian, you picked a hell of an athlete, but they're not getting him the ball enough, and that's Drake London. And then we got Kenneth Walker, who I picked, which Nikki, I remember laughing at me. I'm like, oh, Seattle's going to be better this year than you guys think. She cracked up. She's like, wait, Seattle, screaming all over the damn thing. I do have it on tape somewhere, but I don't want to waste everybody's time. But I did pick Kenneth Walker to be the Rookie of the Year, and I'm going to see if I can get his numbers right now. They're not phenomenal yet because he really just got the starting job about, 4 weeks ago? So 587 yards, but he's got 7 touchdowns on the ground, and he has become their workhorse over there. So to me, Rookie of the Year, I think I'm still going to stick with Kenneth Walker because nobody else stands out to me right now at all. I mean, Breece Hall could have been in the running D, but he's out of there. Do you want to go to one of the wide receivers like, I don't know, Garrett Wilson for the Jets?
He's been balling.
I don't know. He has been balling, but I don't know who would be better if I haven't thought of anybody. And Etienne's in his second year, but so we can't go there. But Kenneth Walker, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm sticking with him right now, I think.
No, Kenneth Walker's not a bad pick, but for Offensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going to go Damian Pierce.
Okay.
Even the Giants coaches were talking about how angry he runs. They were like, I don't know who made him this angry. But he's definitely an angry runner. So far this year, 772 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and 3 rushing touchdowns along with 1 receiving touchdown. He just happens to be in a bad situation, so people are going to overlook him. But Damian Pierce is an absolute monster. So I'm going to go ahead for offense. Are we going to do defense as well?
He is a monster. Yeah, we'll do defense as well. Yeah, right after Nikki gives her Rookie of the Year for offense, we'll do defense as well, of course.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with Chris Olave. I get your 2 picks, and I do have them as other options, but I will, just for the sake of being different, let's just stick with Chris Olave. He's not having a bad season, and he did say it might take like week 6, 7, 8, for him to get going. I have him in fantasy, so, I was happy that I took a shot and got him damn near the end. So I'm going to stick with him.
I mean, and another big thing is, again, because Michael Thomas has not played at all. Jarvis Landry has barely played. He's been asked to be the number 1 guy being covered by the number 1 cornerback. So given all that, he is absolutely a candidate, no doubt. It may come down to these 2 exactly. It really may win. Tommy thinks over here that Olave should win. And getting to the defensive side, he's going with Sauce Gardner for defense. Woo, there's some really good defensive players out there, and some that you don't hear a whole lot based on where they're playing, like Trayvon Walker in Jacksonville, things like that. Derek Stingley Jr., you're not hearing a whole bunch of that. He's got to work on his tackling, but he's a cornerback. Right now, it's definitely, man, there's a lot of guys going through my head, defensively. Do you think Sauce Gardner is it, Damian, or are we thinking of somebody else?
Yeah, I'm going with Sauce Gardner. When you look at that defense, the reason that defense is able to do what they're able to do is because their cornerbacks guard so well, right? And Sauce Gardner, as a rookie, is leading the league in passes defense with 13. That's unheard of for a rookie cornerback to be that good, where you can't even go at him because he's a rookie. Like, you have to avoid him. He's going to be one of those guys going forward that teams are going to have their game plans around to avoid because he's playing that well as a rookie. So I'm going to go with Sauce Gardner because when you watch them play, you can see there's very few times where you're watching a game like, let me watch this cornerback play. Let me see what this cornerback does.
Yeah,
and he's one of those guys. Yeah, he's one of those guys that you're like, oh, let me tune in to see what Sauce does today.
Yeah, so some teams are taking chances on him, and he's batting balls down. He's taking on the best receiver. Remember, he put on the cheesehead thing. Remember all that. But, Nikki, one other guy I have in mind, and he's not getting the recognition, again, because of where he plays, but Aiden Hutchinson is ripping it up in Detroit. He is an animal in Detroit. He really is. But, again, it's the Lions, so nobody gives a shit. But I would throw his name in there as well.
Yeah, well, I think you have to. I'm going to stick with Sauce as well. But yeah, it's just funny, right? Depending on where you play. Like we just talked about how I feel like Philly doesn't get a lot of attention for being undefeated and having that great offense that they do. Yeah, Hutchinson's lighting it up, but you're in Detroit, so.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. He's in Detroit. That really is the whole issue right there. And nothing but. There you
but
go.
We recognize you on this show, and that's all that matters.
There you go. That's right. 3rd and 3 says we're here. We understand. We get it. We know it. All right. So now we up to Quantum Leap.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, quantum leap player and team, right? Or it also could. I guess we could also throw in most disappointing team, just to throw in something different there.
Sure, yeah. I like. Hey, this is the award show, baby. Let's keep throwing it out. We
Yeah.
get the awards out before everybody else can steal it from us. So there you go. You guys both had Trevor Lawrence, who in the beginning of the year it looked like it's like, oh, this guy's going to take a quantum leap, but right now he's not. He's taking a little quantum fall, if you want to call it that. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have the best receivers. Maybe, I don't know. So you guys went, and I was actually on board by saying, oh, that is a good pick. But I went with other one. You guys know who I went with. And Tua Tagovailoa has been destroying the NFL. Like I said, top QBR, the whole nine. So I don't really have to say much more. I think that he is the quantum leap quarterback of the year. I really defy you guys to say another one.
Nah, you're right. You have every right to brag about that pick. He definitely has made the biggest leap. Looking at this year, 18 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions compared to last year where he had 16 and 10 throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
So when you look at those numbers, that's definitely a big quantum leap right there. And imagine if he never got hurt, where his numbers would be. So you definitely got to look at Tua and say he's taking that quantum leap.
And why is Tommy trying to get me all mad over here, trying to say that Geno's the quantum leap quarterback? Nah, no.
Geno, that's a decent pick. That's a decent pick. I wouldn't say he's more than Tua, but he did take a leap from the bench to being a good starter. That's a pretty good leap.
It is.
That's a big leap. That's more than leaps and bounds. That's a big leap.
Yeah.
I think you have to like put him in the conversation.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Even after the numbers we just went over, what was it? 17 touchdowns, 4 interceptions on the year. I mean, Geno's right up there with
but Tommy has a point. I mean, I guess Geno did go a little further from the bench than Tua.
Yeah. Well, Tua went from the hospital bed to the field, so I don't know how much. To be honest, but no, both good calls right there. So Tommy, I'm liking it in there. And what's
Who
up?
else would really be a quantum? Wait a minute. Okay, not a quantum leap, but can we give Daniel Jones baby leaps?
Yeah, I can
Mini
give him
leaps.
quantum steps.
Quantum steps.
He went from crawling to walking.
Yes,
Quantum.
2 at a time.
And yes, prime time. Miami is 14-4 in their last 18 games because of the quantum leap quarterback of the universe. Tua Tagovailoa, making me look good for a change. I love it.
No,
last year when they went on that little streak last year, we all kind of doubted because they had a very easy schedule when they won like 6 out of the last 7 or whatever it was last year. And this year is like, oh, this team's legit. This team we know can win. Because last year, I was one of the main people like, once they play a real team, they're going to get destroyed. What happened? They played Tennessee, got destroyed. This year, they're a real legit squad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally different story this year, no doubt. And we were trying to think about who's going to be legit squads and who's going to take their quantum leap forwards as far as the team goes. And guys, not good. None of us did any good with that. You guys, oh boy, you both picked the Jacksonville Jaguars, which again, I was like, okay, that sounds pretty good. And then I went ahead and I picked the Detroit Lions, me bragging all season long. I'm like, the Lions are going to be in the playoffs. Watch out. Goff, St. Brown, DeAndre Swift. Wow, was I wrong on that one? Yes, I know that they just beat Green Bay and they just eked out a win over Chicago, but they're not going anywhere. They're 3-6. So yeah, I really messed up on that one, Nikki. Bad job out of me. And you called me out on it, so I'll give you credit there.
Because you were so adamant.
I was.
I just remember D and I sitting here, like, I mean, you were just like you knew this, like you were the prophet, and you found Doc Brown, and you got in the DeLorean, and you had the almanac or some shit, and you came on this show, and you were like, Detroit is going to the playoffs. So it was like, whoa, yeah,
I was all about it.
You know, we kind of got it wrong, but I guess you gotta give it to Jets and the Giants probably this year, right?
Or we're hearing from Mr. Primetime. What about the Minnesota Vikings? That's interesting. They weren't in the playoffs last year, and now they're 8-1. They just won in Buffalo. Yeah. That's a quantum leap right there. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Is it quantum?
It is quantum because you think about it, they went from not in the playoffs to now they may be the 1 seed. That's a quantum leap. Like Philadelphia, as they're undefeated right now, but Philadelphia can lose 2 in a row, and next thing you know, Minnesota's right there. So Minnesota's definitely there, but the Giants and Jets for sure. Like the Jets, no one expected the Jets to be any good. Like the Giants, people expected to take steps forward, not to be this good, but to take steps forward. no one expected the Jets to do anything like this. So the Jets probably would be my team, but Minnesota's definitely right there for sure.
Yeah, I think I would have to probably go with the Jets on that one. Minnesota's right there. They're playing remarkable. But, as far as the Jets, and you look at their quarterback, you're like, oh, what the hell? They got to play like in spite of him, like the freaking 49ers have to do with Garoppolo. Yeah. It's like, just don't throw the ball a lot. Let's run the ball all over the damn place and play some good defense. But, Robert Saleh there, again, coach of the year candidate. And the Jets, comeback team of the year candidate, or, whatever you want to call it. But what about the most disappointing team? And we can go to a lot of them. And, Nikki, I would have jumped out and said Tampa Bay, but they won their last couple of games, and now they're starting to look a little bit better. And we remember when they won that Super Bowl a couple of years ago, after they had their bye, they really caught fire, and they didn't lose a game again for the rest of the year. Am I saying that's going to happen now? No, I'm definitely not. But I wouldn't put them there.
I would be so annoyed if Tampa Bay went on a run right now.
I know you would.
So mad.
You would be the most pissed off person on the planet. There's no doubt about it. No doubt. Oh, my God. But as far as a team, I mean, all right, to throw a few out, look, Tommy just said it. The Colts are definitely a disappointment. Let's see if Matt Ryan can revive them a little bit along with Jeff Saturday, which is crazy. I mean, if Jeff Saturday has to get there and play center, then he will. If they're going to win, he'll do whatever.
I feel like he absolutely will.
He would. He'd do it in a heartbeat, just for like 10 snaps a game or something like that on really important plays. God bless Jeff Saturday, my God. So, yeah, teams. Some people thought the Raiders are going to be really good. What a shit show they are, no doubt. They're disappointing. The Packers are absolutely disappointing. You can still say Tampa Bay is disappointing. The Rams are another team. They're disappointing. Yeah. But their offenses look crappy all year. So I don't know. How about all these teams? Nikki, you want to give it a go? Primetime saying the Rams over there that they're
the Rams. I guess for me, really, because I was so high on them, I thought they were just going to kind of keep rolling. But it was like the Cooper Kupp show, and he's hurt now, right? So I don't really know what they're going to do. But Denver, I can't quite figure out, like, yes, Nathaniel Hackett, like, here's the thing, like, Russell Wilson just, like, didn't become bad all of a sudden, right? Like, how does he go from, like, having these great seasons, okay, except his last one in Seattle, fine, we get that. He was unhappy, he wanted out, but it's just, something's just not working, and it's that team has not developed the way I thought they would at all whatsoever.
And Tommy's agreeing with you right there, about the Broncos. That's a good candidate also. They're a total disappointment. Imagine the two teams in the AFC West. Everybody thought that all four teams are going to come out, Damian.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we went through a few, and maybe the Packers are top for me because I didn't see this shit coming. I know that they got lucky and they won a game against Dallas. And Christian Watson had 3 touchdowns. That's 3 more touchdowns they didn't have for probably the rest of the year. Couldn't believe that even happened. So I don't know. Who do you think is, the most disappointing out of them all?
Man, I would have to go Rams. Like, my Saints are definitely up there as well because a lot of people had the Saints making the playoffs. But the Rams, to come off a Super Bowl and look this bad, like, they have no shot. They don't look like a team that has a shot at all. Nope. They got blown out in the backup QB Bowl yesterday. And so this team, man, I have no idea they were going to be this bad. The offensive line, we knew they had lost some pieces, of course, with Wentworth retiring and OBJ being hurt, but to be this bad, that's horrible. So yeah, I have to go to Rams as most disappointing.
Yeah, man, I'm probably with you guys. And again, I wasn't one who was going to be high on them during the year, even though I did have them slotted in as a wild card team. I thought they would be better than this, but it's just bad. No running game. Defense is really no good. It's Jalen Ramsey and Aaron Donald and, some Leonard Floyd, and that's really about it. It's not happening. It's really not happening. So, yeah, kind of a disappointment you'd have to say for them over there. But
the Chargers.
Yeah, I mean, they still, what are they, 5-4 right now? So
they're still in the playoff race, but you could say the whole AFC West as a whole.
I think you could.
Yeah, I think Indy makes sense as a good one too. Some people may have been a little bit. How about what? The Bengals are only 5-4. They're really nothing special right now.
That's true.
They aren't special.
I can see them like starting to turn it around. They had this huge game with Joe Mixon went off before the bye. So I can see them maybe starting to turn it around for them.
Well, let's see if they do. Because I don't think Baltimore is going to be slowing down. They got Roquan Smith to play on that team. I think that's a pretty hot move right there. And if Baltimore can get more healthy, and we'll save that for our show on Wednesday, of course. And guys, we'll be back on Wednesday. We still have a few more things to do over here before we get out. But I got a couple other things written down, guys. But did we hit every category that we needed to, or did I miss one?
Are we updating our Super Bowl picks, or are we just gonna let that be?
You know what?
Why not? I definitely got to update mine for sure, especially NFC wise.
Yeah. You guys have to do that. I'm gonna stick to my guns. I had Bills and Eagles. I'm not gonna change it. I think that the Bills have been, even though right now I think that Kansas City is the better team. They really are. I think that I have to stick with my guns and my gut. I said Buffalo, Philly to begin the year. I'm gonna stick with it then.
Nah, it's a great call. My pick for the 1 seeds were Buffalo and Philadelphia. Now, Buffalo might not get that 1 seed, but Philadelphia looks like they were on their way. Now, my Super Bowl pick definitely was not good. It was Bills versus Saints. So I definitely got to update that. I'm going to stick with the Bills and AFC. Like you said, Kansas City might look like the better team, but like we were talking off camera before, the Bills have beat themselves in all these games they lost. They haven't truly just been beaten yet. So because of that, I still believe in them. So I'm going to go Bills. And now the NFC, I don't want to take your pick, so I'm not going to go Eagles.
That's
but
okay.
They look great. Okay. Yeah, they look great. But just to be different, I'm going to go Bills versus go
with the Boomer Bowl. Go with the Boomer Bowl.
You could go 49ers there. They look pretty good, but I just don't trust Jimmy G in big time playoff games. So I guess I gotta steal your pick, man. I gotta go Bills Eagles too. I gotta jump on your side with that one.
You know what, Nikki? Before we get to your pick, it's really hard to see any other team. I mean, maybe the Cowboys, but I don't really believe in them enough to
stop.
No, I don't.
The Cowboys are just down to the first round. Come on.
We're starting to see that pattern we see every year with the Cowboys, where now the defense is giving up more points. Dak isn't playing as well, and next thing you know, they get to the first round and they're the underdog at home.
Yeah. Tommy likes Dallas and Buffalo. I don't know, but unfortunately I just lost my train of thought over there as trying to make a point across, but that's okay. I'll let it go. Let it go.
Mr. Primetime has Minnesota and Kansas City. Wouldn't that be something?
That's funny because I changed mine to that.
Minnesota, really?
Yeah. Last night changed it. I wasn't sure if we were doing it, and I was like, I think I need to update. I think I had Buffalo, Tampa Bay. And I probably could roll with Buffalo, but for the sake of maybe a little entertainment here, so we all don't have the same thing, because I know you think D and I are in cahoots.
You are.
I'll roll with Minnesota, Kansas City, but I reserve the right to change that when we
come
playoff time. Yeah, we'll have to make it again when playoffs start.
Exactly.
But I'll roll with that for right now.
No, but that is interesting. When I was asking you the question, Minnesota didn't even pop up. It's so funny how we still think that they're like a little paperweight champion
because
over there.
Playoff games happen in prime time, and we know we don't trust Kirk Cousins in prime time.
That's right. That's right. We got prime time here joining us on the show, but that other prime time, no, not working.
You guys see his dance on the plane?
Yeah.
I gotta say,
with his chains on.
Yeah, he looks pretty good with no shirt on. I might add it to.
We got 25 to the list now.
The top 20. The top 20.
I mean, it wasn't bad.
Minnesota's an interesting one. I mean, they needed a signature win, and they just got it. So there you go.
It was no Chris Carson, but I mean,
hey, Nikki, that's the only thing with Kirk Cousins, though. Like, I could imagine doing some adult things. He's like, "You like that?" I don't think. I don't know if that would be sexy.
How do you not bust out laughing?
Beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. All right. Well, before we get on out, because I know today's a quick show. We'll be back on Wednesday doing our picks, our freaky fantasy draft, everything, and all that good stuff. I've been going over the top players in the league, and that's just playmakers, anything. So whatever position, playmakers. And here's the quick list of top 10 that I came up with, not in any order whatsoever, but tell me if you guys would kick someone out, or tell me when I should even stop and say, you know what, no good. Here's what we got to bring in here. And I'll go down it quickly, and then we'll do it slow again. I got Tyreek Hill, top playmaker, as one of them. McCaffrey, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Deebo Samuel, Justin
Kyler Murray.
Yeah, as a playmaker, but that's okay. We'll get back to it. So there you go. There's one. Deebo, I think Justin Fields has put himself in that category as one of the top playmakers in the league. Am I too early on that? I don't know, but I got Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson to round it out. So I heard Kyler Murray immediately, and the reason why I put him in there is because he doesn't have a good offensive line. He's got one good wide receiver. I feel like he's got to run around a lot to make a whole bunch of plays, and that was the reason. But at the same time, I'm with you, D. I'm not a real big fan of Kyler Murray at quarterback, and I don't know. It was hard to find somebody else, so that's why he kind of popped in there.
And it's also tough. This is a recent thing, but they looked pretty good with Colt McCoy yesterday. I understand it was against the Rams, but Colt McCoy, Colt McCoy is not the athlete that Kyler Murray is, but he can scramble a little bit, made a couple plays with his feet. The next thing you know, he's making the plays on time. Like, he's not doing too much. Mm-hmm. So I think that's something that you have to throw in there, is the fact that they look better with their backup quarterback. And Kyler Murray is a great playmaker, but it seems like right now he just is making arguments, right? That's what you're seeing him arguing with the coach. You're already seeing him arguing with DeAndre Hopkins. So I would take Kyler out. I'm trying to think who else you could put in there. Michael Parsons, somebody, if you add a defender in there, he definitely could be in there as far as that. So that's a good call by Tommy there.
I did stick to offense. Kelsey, Saquon. Okay, that's good.
Saquon should be in there. How dare you? How dare you?
So I would take Kyler out and put Saquon in.
Yeah,
all right, that's fair.
Veto Kyler Murray, who does not study and needs it mandated in his. Can I ask you guys, did Justin Jefferson dethrone Odell Beckham Jr.'s one-handed catch yesterday? Has he been dethroned?
Ooh,
I think it was better because he was more contested to make the catch.
Yeah, the fact that he still came down with that, with the other guy trying to take it out of his one hand on 4th and 18, like, that's the game. If he doesn't make that catch, the game's over. That's true. I have to say, because of the situation and the fact that it was being contested, and I don't know if you guys saw the interview with the defensive player after the game. He was so upset with himself. He's like, I should have just knocked it down. I should have just knocked it down. It's 4th and 18. I just got knocked the ball down instead of trying to catch it. But your instincts at that point, he's probably thinking, he didn't even see Justin Jefferson probably. He saw the ball. He's like, oh, because Kirk Cousins overthrew it. Let's be honest. He overthrew the ball. So the defender is thinking, oh, I got an easy pick. And then next thing you know, this guy comes with one hand and just snatches away from him. So that's absolutely crazy. So I would say Justin Jefferson for sure. Yeah. But we also, if you're going on just to catch, George Pickens on Thursday Night Football earlier this year, that one he made.
God. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was absolutely ridiculous. I understand that catch didn't mean anything in the big scheme of things like this one did, but the fact that the way he was able to contort his body and turn and still catch it with one hand and control it like that, that catch was absolutely crazy. That's going to be down like highlights of one-handed catches and great catches. That's going to be in the highlight reel forever. So there's a lot this year to choose from.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think with Odell we just really hadn't seen a one-handed, right? And like, here he comes kind of out of nowhere. It's like, oh, it's one-handed catch. I mean, ended up with a friggin' penalty on that. But still, I think it was like we hadn't seen it yet, right? Kind of.
Not one like that, yeah. Because most of the one-handed catches at that point, I saw Randy Moss do a couple crazy ones where Randy would just catch it just like this, where you like, what kind of hands does this man have? He would do those type of catches. But that was the first of its kind, the Odell one, where he was fully stretched out, somehow got to the ball and still caught it with like 3 fingers. That was the first of its kind. So I think that's why it stands out so much.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, that was incredible. It really was. But now we see players doing it all the time, all over the place. But the degree of difficulty, it's just incredible. Some other honorable mentions real quick because we're about to get out of here. I put A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase, Alvin Kamara, Stephon Diggs. I put in Kelsey and Saquon, Mark Andrews. Now, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, they don't screen playmaker, but they get the job done every time. So while they're really just north-south runners, guys, I feel like they could belong somewhere in the top, maybe 12 to 15-ish, because without Chubb and without Henry, neither team is any good at all, in my opinion, Dick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could put Derrick Henry in there because we know with Derrick, even though, he's going to get 4 or 5 yards, we still know that he's capable of boom, 50, boom, 65. Right. So he's definitely in there as well. Nick Chubb's also someone who can break out. Dalvin Cook's up there. We saw him break an 81-yarder yesterday.
Yeah.
So the league is full of talent right now. That's the crazy thing, how offenses have struggled and how we've been able to hit a lot of unders this year because offenses have struggled. There's still so much talent on the offensive side. So you really got to give defensive coordinators and defensive coaches a lot of credit for being able to really keep these offenses in check this year.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing a lot of referees swallow their whistles at times. I mean, even last night's game, they weren't calling a lot of pass interference. That Buffalo game, they weren't calling a lot. So, yeah, we say, and you know what? I want to let them play, but then, of course, they miss a whole bunch of stuff. There's too many things that they miss. Your Giants could totally stumble, Nikki, yesterday, but they didn't. They came out and they still took care of business.
Yes, made us sweat all the way through, and I liked seeing Brian Dable get fired up and get in everybody's face on the sideline. Like, I'm sorry. Sometimes you need that. You're doing stupid shit. You're costing us games, and the penalties were out of control, which was so funny because I had tweeted that Bill Vinovich has called the least amount of penalties in the past 3 seasons. And it's like, I jinxed it because the entire game was penalty after penalty after penalty. But, no, good win for the Giants. Felt good about that. Had some Kenny Golladay tweets that you guys hated me for all day today and all day yesterday. And let me just take this 1 second. Not that any of you who came at me yesterday are listening. Not that I should even clarify, but my tweet about Kenny Golladay not having any chemistry with Daniel Jones was not specifically about a drop pass. It was 2 years worth of watching the lack of chemistry. It was being up close and personal through camp all summer, multiple times a week, watching it. It was watching somebody's body language, listening to them at the podium, being there for the interviews, them not really giving a shit. So that's what that was. And man, did I have everybody come at me for that. Woo! I got you guys mad.
Put out content. A lot of crap comes back at you.
Because they were like, oh, well, Nikki, you can't use this. Chemistry has nothing to do with a drop pass. And it was like, by the 100th person, I just wanted to be like, I fucking know. When did I say that? I didn't.
That's right.
And the thing is, chemistry can have something to do with a drop pass as well. Like maybe the wide receiver isn't used to the velocity that the ball is thrown at, right? People said that about Brett Favre back in the day. Like, you have to get used to the ball coming that hard at you to catch the ball, right? I'm pretty sure the same thing with Josh Allen, quarterbacks like that, where you're like, oh, okay, that ball came on me real fast. I have to get used to the ball coming on me. It could be real fast or real slow, depending on the quarterback, right? I know people with Chad Pennington, they're like, oh, I had to wait for the ball to take forever to get to me. Yeah. So it depends on who the quarterback is, and maybe you have to get used to knowing when to put your hands up.
That's a killer, though, in the cold weather. Like, when it starts getting really cold, and if we're going to be playing, games in Buffalo, Kansas City, all these cold weather places, whatever it may be, that's a problem. You got to double up on your gloves right there, because I remember, look, I ain't no superstar or anything, but even in a flag football game I was playing, it was probably 0 degrees. Yeah, hard as a rock. I threw the ball and literally split this guy's fingers open. Not because I'm like amazing, because it was so freaking cold. And the ball, so you got to watch when you throw the ball so hard. And I've seen it with Josh Allen, where he's throwing the ball too hard and it may bounce off a face mask or it bounce off the fingertips. And, like yesterday, get an interception or something like that. So you got to know, you have to have more touch. That's what I love about Tua. Tua brings absolute touch. Does he fire the ball in there? No, because he knows where his receiver is going to be. And he's got 2 guys in Waddle and Tyreek, Nikki, that can get open at any time that they want to. It's amazing. So I'd rather have a quarterback that can loft it in there and make that sweet little play and get it. Like Joe Burrow. He knows, he's a very smart quarterback, guys. Nikki, he knows when that he's got to whip it, and he knows when he's got to put touch on it. You can't always be throwing the ball as hard as you possibly can.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I just needed to clarify. Yes, Primetime did have my back. I know he did. But you know how Twitter is.
Yeah. Mike Vick split fingers in Atlanta. Yeah, I mean, really, Mike. That's right. Mike Vick split fingers in Atlanta, as Tom used to say over there. I mean, it's true. The harder you throw, sometimes the worse that it could possibly be. That's why you got to be careful, man. Again, these cold weather games is such a big deal, and you wonder. Miami's a team that's been showing us so much already this year. Can they go up to Buffalo if they have to, even though right now they're in first place, or go to another cold weather place, Kansas City, whatever it's going to be, and win a game there? There is something to be said about that. So Miami's got to fight their ass off to get the number 1 spot, because I truly believe, Damian, as good as they are, that it's going to be really hard for them later in the year to go get those wins in January. I think Miami really needs to get that number 1 seed. And you know what? They're in a good spot to do it right now. I think KC is the only one that's got a better record than them at the moment.
Yeah. Now they're in a good place to maybe sneak up there. Kansas City, I can see Kansas City having one more of those games where you're like, what happened? Like when they played the Colts, how in the hell did they lose to the Colts, right? I can see them having one more of those type of games where you're like, okay, what happened, Kansas City? And next thing you know, Miami's in the driver's seat to get the 1 seed. Now they still have to go to Buffalo and win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be a tough one as well. So it's going to be very interesting with the AFC East, what's going to happen. I know New England's still going to be a tough out as well. So that division is what we thought the AFC West was going to be, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens down the stretch. I'm really excited. And we got like really good football yesterday. I don't know if maybe it took longer than we expected, because normally, like Nikki always says, the first 4 weeks are like the preseason, right? You get bad football. Seemed like it lasted longer this year, like to like week 7, week 8, before we start getting like really good football. And this past Sunday was really good. So hopefully we get that throughout the rest of the year and all the storylines we have going forward. I'm really excited about it.
Oh man,
yeah,
we had a whole lot of good stuff go on this last week, and we still have a game tonight, Philly and Washington, that we already picked. We already picked. The game is in the books right now, so we all have Philadelphia. I don't think that anybody's going to hiccup over here as far as that goes. So yeah, Philadelphia, they should be what, 9-0 after tonight, or 8-0?
9-0, my prediction.
No, that's right. Your prediction is 9-0. That's right. So talk about the profit, baby. I freaking love it, man. That's beautiful. And I love how you even had the patience to go through the schedule and be like, all right, they're going to win. And then what? Yeah, I think you had them losing against Green Bay is their next game, and they're probably going to beat them too.
They probably will. So yeah, they'll probably make me look wrong on that. So I did. Yeah, I think I had them losing to Green Bay as their first loss. Unless Green Bay starting to get it together. Unless this Dallas game was a sign of something that happened. But we'll see.
Can they get it together? Talking about Tampa and Green Bay, can either one or both of those teams actually get it together or make some sort of run? I don't know. It remains to be seen. But the thing about it is, again, the NFC is really not that tough. It just really isn't.
Yeah.
Again, Tampa Bay is okay. Minnesota's really good right now, we believe. But after that, Green Bay, wild card. We got the 49ers. Seattle's a wild card. I don't even mean that literally. I mean, I'm not even sure if they're actually going to make the playoffs. Nikki, do you think Seattle has been overachieving this whole time and they're going to come back to earth?
Yeah, I do. I feel like they're going to hit like a maybe 3-game stretch or something like that, where they're just going to it's going to level off a little bit for them. Listen, I think the NFC East is going to send 3. So
right now, it looks like they're going to. Right now, I mean, Tommy's saying the NFC is full of playoff teams. I don't see where they look. All right, fine. You got Giants, Dallas, and Philly. That's you got one from the NFC West. There's only one coming out of there. Only one coming from the NFC South. And then you talk about the NFC North, where you got Minnesota, and everybody else is under 500. It's really not a good conference.
Yeah, no, it's not. So there's definitely, I could see Dallas and the Giants getting 2 of those wild card spots. So you have one that's up for grabs, and that could be the one where, if San Francisco and Seattle continue to both do well, then one of those teams will get it. But if Seattle has that drop off, like you guys are talking about, that's when the Green Bay can come back and make that type
Tommy,
of run. So
we need to have you on. Tommy's got a lot to say.
Yeah.
Come on one time.
We appreciate your participation too, Tommy, for sure.
Yes, Tommy, we're going to definitely give you a cordial invite over there.
Yes.
So without a doubt. So we appreciate that. We love it. We love all the comments. It's a beautiful thing. And again, we can't do the show without you guys. I need you. Love you. Awesome. What's this? Niners, Cowboys, Eagles represent the top 3 defenses in the playoffs. That's quite possible. Like I've been saying, Philly's got both sides of the line, offense and defensive. Realism Sports Talk. Yes. Oh, yeah. My man Terrell. No doubt about it. Terrellism. That's how it is. But, all right. So we got a good game. Hopefully it'll be a good game to watch tonight, guys. I don't know, but we all expect Philly to win this one. Wednesday, we'll be back talking about that. Getting into week 11 already. Holy crap. I can't believe this is happening. Freaky fantasy football drafts, our picks, our locks, our best bets, all that good stuff. We'll be back on Wednesday. But before we do that, we got to tell everybody what's going on with the rest of the week. So, Nikki, let's do it. What's happening?
What's happening? Well, directly after this, I will be going to Tommy's in Bridgewater for the New York Giants Rush meetup party. Ooh. And so a bunch of Giants fans can sit there and I guess watch the Eagles win. Sorry about that, everybody. We did not pick the greatest Monday night game. But if you are in the area, please stop by. We will be there till Well, I might fall asleep, but I'll be there as long as I can. So stop by, have a drink. Of course, Wednesday, we will be back on air. I think we're going to have our friend Ryan from One and Done Radio, the special picks edition. He will be joining us. And, I am doing Mind Your Pucking Business tomorrow at 1 o'clock. No, it is not about hockey. They're doing a football segment. Then, of course, Sunday, Channel Side Bets at 11:30.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Where's Nikki? She's all over the damn place. Beautiful thing. Yes. Love it, girl. Still making time for a home at 3rd and 3. D, I know you got your thing going on. You had a nice controversy that you brought out today, getting people coming back at you and everything. But you put out the quotes, you put out the facts, and you back it up, man.
I appreciate that. So yeah, he's making reference to a video I made earlier today, which I posted on all the social medias, talking about who I think are the most overrated athletes of all time. I pick one football player, one basketball player, and one boxer. So if you want to go check out and see who I picked for the most overrated athletes ever, go check it out at The Real Deal WDA. That's The Real Deal, W as in whiskey, D as in Delta, A as in alpha, on all social media platforms. Of course, I'll be back here Wednesday night with my two lovely siblings here for another episode of 3rd and 3. And then also The Real Deal with Damian Adams. We'll be dropping that one tonight after the football game. Do a little recap of week 10, along with some football talk and some boxing talk as well. So go ahead and check that out. And of course, the GSMC podcast as well. So just look up for the GSMC podcast network and you'll find me in the boxing and basketball section. But The Real Deal with Damian Adams, 3rd and 3 podcast, GSMC boxing and GSMC basketball. The reason you listen to these podcasts is because they keep you young. We just talked about earlier how Nikki's glowing right now. It's because right before the podcast, she was listening to one of my old episodes. And now she's glowing. The hair is flowing. It's because she listened to one of my podcasts. Jason looks young. The beard is looking, is coming in real nice. You know why it's coming in real nice? Because he listens to my podcast, all right? So make sure you go ahead and listen to The Real Deal with Damian Adams so you can have your beard come in like Jason, or you can have your hair flowing like Nikki, all right?
I love it, man. D is the best. I love it. That is great. That is great. All right. Power 32 is around at sporadic times, but again, 3rd and 3 is where it's at. Every Wednesday night, give you a little special Monday night action. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We love the comments. Keep it going. We'll be back Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So be with us as we get you ready for week number 11. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Week 11 already?
Nice.
My God. Well, enjoy it while it's here, everybody. NFL football boys and girls, we're out for now. Give them the wave, Nick. See ya.